Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Boxiest, and today we're going to continue the What If series. What if events had gone differently? And in this What If, we're going to change the history of Cobra Kai. What if Kwon was the first Miyagi-Do student during the events of Cobra Kai Season 1? So in this timeline, the events of Cobra Kai Season 1 would still happen. Kwon and his family would move to the valley. Kwon would know karate, and he would have trained at Master Kim's dojo his whole life. He would already know the strike first, strike hard and no mercy philosophy, and Season 1 would carry on. Johnny would still reopen Cobra Kai in this timeline, and Miguel would still be his first student, and much of Season 1 would go unchanged. Daniel would still find out that Johnny had reopened Cobra Kai, so Daniel and Johnny would still have a rivalry. In this timeline, Kwon would get a job at LaRusso Auto. Kwon would still be working at the dealership, and one day he would stop by the LaRusso house. This is when he would see Daniel practicing kata, and Kwon would laugh at Daniel. He would tell Daniel that he should aim for the head. He would say no head, no fight. But this is when Daniel would be surprised to see Kwon, and he would tell Kwon that his karate was based on defense. But Kwon would say that offense was better, and that he learned everything from his dojang in Korea, and that he learned the way of the fist under Sensei Kim Daeun and Master Kim Sun-young. Daniel would recognize the name Kim Sun-young, and it would remind him of Terry Silver. Daniel would realize that Terry Silver was telling the truth all those years ago, and that Kim Sun-young was a real person. This would make Daniel conflicted about Kwon, and he would ask Kwon if he knew about Cobra Kai, but Kwon would say he didn't know what that was. Daniel wouldn't want Kwon to go down the same path Silver and Kreese did, so he would offer to teach Kwon some of his karate, and at first, Kwon would be amused, but he would accept the challenge, so Kwon would start training in Miyagi-Do, and those events would carry on. Since Kwon already had some prior karate training, Daniel wouldn't teach him the basics, but he would still teach him defense, and he would also teach him some of the Miyagi-Do teachings, so Kwon's mentality would start to change, and Kwon and Daniel would start to have a bond, and Sam and Kwon would become friends. Sam would still date Kyler in this timeline, and they would eventually break up. So much like in the original timeline, Kyler would still spread rumors about Sam, so Sam would want to confront Kyler, and in this timeline, Kwon would defend Sam, so he would fight Kyler and his friends. Kwon would strike first, and he would knock Kyler back. Kyler's friends would be surprised, and they would want to surround Kwon, but Kwon would start fighting them off, and Kwon would easily take down Kyler and his friends. Since Kwon had been the one to fight Kyler and his friends in the cafeteria, Cobra Kai wouldn't get as many students. Since Robbie never saw Miguel and Johnny, Robbie would show up at Cobra Kai in this timeline, and he would join, and Johnny and Robbie would start to rebuild their relationship. Season 1 would continue. Danny would start to get more students, so Danny would open Miyagi-Do, and he would start training all the new students. Sam would thank Kwon for standing up for her, so Sam and Kwon would start dating, and both Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai would train for the All Valley. And the night of the All Valley, both Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai would compete, and Miyagi-Do would have more students compete in the All Valley. And Kwon would start winning his matches, and he would fight Xander Stone, but Kwon would defeat Xander, and Miguel and Kwon would fight in the finals, but Kwon would use a combination of offense and defense, and he would defeat Miguel, and he would be the All Valley champion. And that is where I'm going to end part 1. Thank you guys for watching. What do you guys think would have happened if Kwon was the first Miyagi-Do student during the events of Season 1? Let me know in the comments below. YouTube lets me know that the majority of you are not subscribed, so if you guys could subscribe, that would be much appreciated. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. And I'll see you guys next time.